have the other ones available in there. But
What? So, Luke, what are you drinking today?
Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
Going to be the bow after that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Hojo! I learned my lesson from last time.
What a welcome, thank you.
I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day?
I'm going to did you a favor, Jens. I just say no later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like some of our drawstrings, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Yes. Man, it's I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. You're muted.
Oh.
Yes. Yes,
Yay.
we're live.
We're live.
It worked. Technology is awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Woo!
You'd think me being a millennial, I would be able to have this whole technology thing worked out, but nope. You and I have problems with it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a miracle that things even function most of the time. It's
Oh yeah.
it's like magic almost. Like where do you live, for instance?
I live in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. I'm here in the Netherlands. We're talking together, like with people watching from all over the planet, like from Canada, like Mike. Hello, Mike. Good day and good drink. Time to evolve. Yes. Next evolution.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mike. Welcome. All right, guys, let's send out the link to the stream. Let's get some more people in and get some more people watching. We have 1 hour with Miss Heather Veely. Did I pronounce it?
Veely. It's
Veely?
yeah, just pronounce that the Y is another E.
Right.
It-
Veely. Right.
Yeah,
All right.
It is it's a very deceptive last name.
Yes. Let's do this. Officially. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for Miss Heather Veely.
All right. I see you do the mute unmute thing, and it freaked me out for a minute. They're like, no, please don't.
It does that automatically. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, let's see. Chat. We have a good day and good drink. Time to evolve. Yes, we had that. Darius Artist is with us. Hello, Darius Artist. Oh, hi, Mark. Welcome, Darius Artist. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend and a great Sunday. Crenshaw, welcome, Crenshaw. Welcome. Hi, Dave, Heather, and Chat. I'm watching along from Idaho.
Ooh.
Wow, Idaho. And Miss Veely. Yes. Wow. All right. Heather, before we talk about anything, I kind of have to ask the first question, which goes with the theme of the show a little bit.
Okay.
What are you drinking right now?
Well, I was cooking up a shepherd's pie earlier, and they required some wine, so I'm just finishing off the rest of the wine. I've also got some coffee.
What's that? That looks like the Holy Grail.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's a chalice that I got from the Ren Fair a few years ago. I have a matching one that my boyfriend was drinking from a little bit ago before he left.
Holy shit, that looks fancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was only like $20 too.
Really? Wow. 20. Look at you go. All right, guys. He chose poorly. Yes. Remember that?
Yeah. It's been a very long time since I've seen any Indiana Jones movie, though.
Yeah. I bet.
Although I do remember that when the guy chose unwisely and he shriveled up, that freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we didn't mind like if you compare like special effects nowadays with back then, and when you see these movies now, the effects are sometimes a bit dated, but still they worked perfectly. So we don't
Yeah.
really mind like effects when they're not really convincing as long as they work, right?
Yeah, like a lot of David Cronenberg's monstrous contraptions. You
Yeah.
can kind of tell that they're robots. You can tell that they're not real, but they do one heck of a job, especially
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like the thing sprouting
Yeah.
out from the guy's chest.
Yeah, you just go along with it, you know.
Mhm.
So this is why sometimes people like to complain about these modern effects with CGI. You know, bad
Yeah.
CGI stands out, but you did have bad effects like 30, 40 years ago. You know,
Oh yeah.
people didn't mind that much back then.
I think with the CGI, people mind it because it looks way more plastic, even
Yeah.
with the plastic props.
That
I
might
think
be.
CGI is best used when it's in like to enhance something very small.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people may freak out with anime, for instance, whenever you see CGI in anime. But even with some of the ones that were in the 90s, there was a little bit of CGI used. You couldn't really tell because they
Mhm.
used it so minimally.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's artist says, I need to get my hands on a chalice that looks badass. It does.
Mhm.
The Last Crusade is as good now as it was in the theater then. This is true. This is true. It's a fantastic movie. All right, Heather. Let's talk about you for a moment. For those who don't know you, we've never really met before today, right? So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do on a creative field level?
So I'm mostly a writer, and I've been writing various things ever since I was 15. Of course, being a teenager, I was writing mostly fan fiction, and I was mostly a manga fan right up until I got to college. I did read some comic books when I was a little kid, but in college, I decided, hey, why don't I broaden my reading and get into American comics? And I haven't looked back since. And then I think it was 2019 when I was signing up for this copywriting course, like an online copywriting course, and it gave me a free subscription to medium.com. And I figured, okay, so while I'm doing this course, I'll just blog about some of the comic books I've been reading. The copywriting did not work out, but I've kept up the blog for ever since then. And I just mostly blog. I write free verse poetry, some short stories, and just recently published my first comic book. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Exciting. So you started out with like reading manga that got you into like the comic vibe
Mhm.
scene a little bit.
Yep.
So when did you start to write? Was that recently, or was it even before you started the blog?
I mean, I've been doing it for a very long time, but when it comes to like publishing stuff on the internet as
Mhm.
myself and trying to build up, I don't know if I would call it a career, but at least have an
Sure.
audience, that started in 2019. Yeah.
All right, sure, right. And there's artist asks, what comic books made you stop reading manga?
I wouldn't say I didn't stop reading manga, but when as far as comic books, I think it was some of the old, like not older, but the late 80s, early 90s Batman stuff. I remember one of the first graphic novels I read was Watchmen, obviously.
All right.
So yeah, I read Watchmen, though I would say that Watchmen is probably not a book I would recommend for someone's first graphic novel.
No, it's not really like a
It's
gateway
dense.
comic. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's more of a deconstruction of superheroes.
Yes.
That'd be like saying if you were interested in getting into the mech anime genre,
Mhm.
then you should start with Neon Genesis Evangelion, even though it's like Evangelion's, the whole point is to pick a hammer to the usual mech tropes. And I feel
Right.
the same way about Watchmen. But yeah, I kind of started with Watchmen, a little bit of The Killing Joke, tried to get into some of the comic books that were coming out on the stands at the time, but I started noticing that they weren't as good as some of the comics from the 90s and before.
Mhm.
So it's like, you know what, I'll keep up with the new stuff periodically if something piques my interest, but I mostly just started collecting back issues.
Right. So what made you pick up Watchmen first when you were a manga reader and you wanted to get into comic books? There's a lot to choose from, right? What was it
Mhm.
that drew you towards that particular book?
A little naive me was like, ooh, Watchmen, this looks like it's a really popular one. I should start with
Mhm.
this one.
Right. But it had a reputation. It was a good book.
I mean, it is
Right.
good, but like
Yeah.
we said, it's a dense one.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I can see how someone would read Watchmen and would be kind of a little turned off by comic books because they would expect this to be the norm, and it's like, no, that is not the norm. That's just Alan Moore.
Mm. Yeah. Mike says CGI used as it was when blended and combined with practical effects in the Dark Crystal series is well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, but even the original Dark Crystal movie, you can see these were just puppets, right? But it
Yeah.
didn't matter. You were totally into it, totally lost into this world. It kind of
I
depends
think
on. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I enjoyed Labyrinth a little bit more than the Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal is a wonderful film, and
Mhm.
it is very creative. But I think
Mhm.
if I wanted to go with story, I think I preferred Labyrinth over the Dark
Sure.
Crystal.
Right, Labyrinth. Yeah, man. Jennifer Connelly. That was I. I remember Labyrinth mostly from that. You know, I was in that age range. You know, it's
Looking back on it, it's actually a bit of a messed up movie. Like, she
Oh, yeah.
literally is offering up her own brother to the Goblin King just because she wanted more time to LARP as a princess. And it's like, that's actually really messed up when you think about it.
Yeah, you know, this. So movies sometimes geared towards kids. They handle some tough themes often, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Labyrinth, Never Ending Story.
absolutely.
Trying to think of a few other ones from my childhood, or even Tarzan, where the death of the villain in Tarzan was like, oh my God, they actually showed that. Like, you don't see the body, but you see his
Yeah.
shadow in the background. And it's like, holy crap, did they just lynch this man?
Mike says, "Hey, Labyrinth did have the bug of eternal stench. Yeah, it did.
It did.
And welcome, Eastlyn. Welcome. Nice to see you in the chat. Excellent, guys. Right. So you got into comics, and what ultimately made you decide to make your own comic book?
Well, I had the idea of Next Evolution in my head for 5 years. And I kept thinking, okay, how would this work as a comic book? Would this work better as a novel? And
Mhm.
ultimately, I decided that it was a story that would be better suited as in comic book form than in novel form. So just had to ask around for an artist, and that's where I met Martin Gimenez, and here we are. I just think that the comic book format, some stories are good for comic books, some aren't. And
Yeah.
I just really felt that Next Evolution should be a comic book.
Right. That was because of the visual aspect of it, or was it something else? Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it just seems like more exciting to see the visuals of it, because you can obviously read words on a page and you can imagine the scenes in your head, but it's also so much cooler to watch the action happen on the
Yeah.
page.
Right. So how did this go? So you had the concept, then how did your process go to turn your concept, your idea into a story which was also worked towards being a comic book format, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a very different experience for me writing the actual script because like I said, it's been in my head for so long, and I'm so used to just jotting stuff down and having to get myself to think and okay, I have to go panel from panel and I have to describe what's happening and what the dialogue is happening. And when I was trying to figure out who am I going to get to illustrate this, I messaged RJ Shaw on X. You would know him as the Fourth Age. I messaged him and asked, hey, do you know any artists who are available for work right now? And he gave me a few, and I felt that Martin's style would have fit best with the story.
Right.
Yeah. I shot him
Yeah.
a message, and then he was like, oh yeah, hey, you got the script done yet? I'm like, oh crap. So I did have to, because I was starting on the script, but I didn't think I would get his answer that quickly. It's like, oh crap, I gotta write this out real quick.
Wow, you can actually start. That's amazing. Yeah.
Because I did message a few other artists, and I still haven't heard back from them.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks. Yeah. Ethan says, yes, we are tough. We're tougher back then. I know. I think kids nowadays can take it, but it just I don't think that we trust them that they
They call it the helicopter parent era
Right.
that we're in right now.
Mm.
And look, I understand. You want to make sure your kids aren't watching something that they shouldn't. Like, you wouldn't want your kid to accidentally put on something like The Ring or Saw and watch that as a youngin'. But at the same time, you can't shelter your kids from harsh realities forever. And I think that's the great thing about media and movies is you can introduce these elements in a kid-friendly way so that the child can understand it. Like, say, death, or the fact that there is going to be cruel people in this world who do not care about you, and they are going to make it their life's mission to make your life miserable. It's a sad reality, but it's a reality that we all have to come to terms with. Like, Matilda was my favorite childhood movie, and that beautifully introduced the concept of, look, some adults are bullies just to be bullies. With Mrs. Trunchbull, who was another character who terrified me as a kid.
Yes, this is true. Yeah, you shouldn't shelter kids too much. You know, they have to be prepared. The real world is tough, man.
Yeah,
it's difficult. All right, there's artist has a question for you. His question is, what is the elevator pitch for Next Evolution?
All right, so the basic story of Next Evolution is, in this world, there are these people who are called Ragers, and the general public has no idea where they come from, but they are characterized for being stronger than the average human, and they get set off way quicker than the average human too. Like, they can easily go from 0 and 100 and just rage out. That's why I called them Ragers. And the main character, Skylar, she is one of these Ragers, but she's a little bit more self-aware and a little bit more mentally stable than others. And her life has still been, not that great considering her stage in life or what she is. Well, she discovers that the reason she's like that is because when her mother was pregnant with her, she took this new awesome medication that's going to, help your health out and help you help the health of your baby. And it turned out that's what was messing her up. And it also messed her mom up, but we haven't gotten to that part of the story yet. And coincidentally, a brand new company is releasing a product that looks suspiciously like the product that her mother took all those years ago. She finds out that there is a link, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to take down this drug company before they screw up yet another generation. Because clearly nobody was holding them accountable.
Right. So all these Ragers, they were all like, they had the same origin. So their parents took like these, or the mother took these meds.
Yeah, it's I got the main inspiration for it with the thalidomide case from way back in the 60s, where this company was putting out this new miracle drug that helps with all kinds of ailments. It'll even help with your morning sickness. And it ended up like seriously messing up a bunch of kids. Like they were born without limbs, and some of them were born even worse off than that. And it turns out the thalidomide was what was causing all of these birth defects. It was a very sad case, but it was also like the crux of, okay, what if there's a company who's doing it on purpose, knowing they are messing with someone's, chemicals like hormones and stuff like that, but they're doing it for a very nefarious purpose.
Right. Mike says, very contemporary world concept for next evolution, reflective of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's indeed not too like out there, the concept, it's you can totally see this as a television series or something.
Oh yeah, like a TV drama.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think of like a snappy, like what genre is my comic book, because it is action. There's action in it, but it's also not just an action. And I don't want to call it like, I don't know, a conspiracy thriller. I sometimes have a hard time categorizing my work like that.
Sure. Sure. Next. So these ragers, do these raging, they like sometimes they go into rage mode, and does this happen like spontaneously, randomly, or does something needs to happen?
It's based off of their moods. It's kind of similar to having say either BPD or bipolar disorder, where you're not always going to just completely lose it and go out of control. However, when you're stressed, that's when the episode will start. And it's the same thing with them, where the more level-headed ones are able to control their anger and their stress to a way where they don't explode and cause destruction, but some can't control their temper that well. And when they lose control of their temper, that's when they start destroying stuff.
Right. So they have a complete blackout, some of them, right?
It depends on how far along they are. Yeah.
How far along they are. This is something that progresses.
What I meant was like mentally, like how far gone they are.
Sure. Right, but it's not something that gets worse over time.
No, not for them. No.
Right.
And it's kind of something that they're stuck with and they have to maintain and control.
Right. So there's
and
no
Skylar decides to use her strength in order to control it in a way where she can, beat up bad guys and try and take down this company.
Oh, right. So she has some control over it. That's good.
Yeah.
But there are some people who completely lose it, right?
Oh yeah. And like one example in the first issue is there's this news report where one of the Ragers gets so angry he yanks out one of those trash cans who are screwed into the ground, and he just chucks it because he just completely loses it.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's the opening scene.
Look at this. Shut up, you damn brat. So the entire book is black and white.
That's one of the things I liked about Global Comics is you can edit it in a way where you can have it as just the full page, or you can have it where it zooms in on a single panel.
Yeah, that's really cool, huh? That's really cool. Darius Artist says the genre sounds like techno thriller.
I guess that's the closest we can get to it. Yeah.
Techno thriller. I never heard of that phrase or that genre description.
I think like Blade Runner.
Yeah, he says famous techno thrillers are Michael Crichton or Dan Brown. Well, these are writers, right? They are not techno thrillers, but they're writers. But I know what you mean. Mike asks, Heather, did you ever see the TV series Colony? Sounds like it shares some similarities in story genres with Next Evolution in regards to the human drama.
I actually never heard of that series until now.
Okay.
So I actually don't have a cable or Netflix or streaming services. I get most of my entertainment from YouTube.
Sure. Well, that's probably not a bad thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's not much worthwhile out there. Although I just started watching the newest season of Black Mirror, and that's fantastic. I love that.
I keep seeing clips of Black Mirror, and it definitely looks like one of those shows where it is very good, but it also gets into some very dark territory.
Yeah, it's always very very depressing. This is true. Yet I love this. What Global Comics offers here with the panels like this.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, guys, you can also read the first issue of Perfect 10 on Global Comics. Go check it out. Right, so this entire book is black and
Black
white.
and white, yeah.
There was a deliberate choice. You wanted the feel of black and white.
Initially, no, but I figured I had to like crunch the numbers on my own end, and I figured, okay, we should probably just keep this as black and white for now. I still wanted to have like color posters and color covers, but the interior is going to have to be black and white for now, just because I'm still trying to figure out how to get this book out there and get more of a following and more of a income in order to fund more colorful art.
Yeah, it's expensive making comics.
Yeah, it's like I want to stay indie because I frankly don't trust the big publishers these days.
Right.
But it is tough making it out indie.
It is tough. It is true. But you produced the book, and then you put it on Global Comics. Are there other like?
I also
avenues?
had crowdfunding too, which helped a lot.
You did crowdfunding. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Initially was on Indiegogo, but I don't think I want to use Indiegogo anymore.
Why is that?
Well, did you hear about the incident with Tim Lim with Common America on Indiegogo? It was back in December, I believe. But Indiegogo was just like refusing to give him the money that he funded, and they had a little back and forth, and it got me scared too because they were kind of withholding my funds as well. And I'm like, oh, are they not going to give me the money? But they did eventually give it to me, but it was a very stressful couple of days.
Why did they withhold your funds?
They said it was some sort of a processing thing. Like there was some sort of processing error going on their end. It was, from what I could tell, they weren't purposely withholding my money. They just wanted to, make sure that it all checked out.
Okay. Well, luckily that worked out. But yeah, every like platform like Kickstarter also has like gatekeep like tendencies, right? For certain creators. You ever heard of Fund My Comic?
Yeah, I have, and I think I might go to them next time. Yes.
I can recommend it. It's great support service there, and it's for creators by creators, so they know what you need. They don't gatekeep, Mike says, or the obscure short-lived single season 1998 series Prey. That's actually more comparable.
That sounds familiar. That does sound familiar, but I have not seen Prey.
All right. Well, so Mike knows even the years of these things, man. That's crazy.
Or maybe he was Googling them to make himself look smoother.
Yeah, maybe. Welcome, Thiago, TJ Inks, Thiago Gomez, guys. This is the inker of Perfect 10 Book 5. Welcome, Thiago. He's right now inking the cover for Safeguard Book 1. So I'm looking forward to that, but it looks stellar already. It looks promising. Welcome, Thiago. Mike says black and white is good as long as you tell your backers your book's going to end up uncolored. A jab at someone else. Yeah. There was someone else.
Oh yeah, I made it very clear
Yeah.
on the Indiegogo that the interior was going to be black and white, and I even included pictures from the interior to let them know that, because I can understand how frustrating that'll be, where you think you're going to be getting a full color comic, you pre-order it, you get it, and it's
Mhm.
black and white. And I have met people who flat out tell me that they cannot read black and white comics, like they refuse to read black and white comics.
Oh, right. Really?
Yeah,
that-
which was weird to me because, well, first off, you have manga, and manga
Exactly.
is primarily in black and white. But then you got other like really good series that were done in black and white, like The Crow. It's
Yeah.
black and white. So it's like if you don't want to read black and white, you're missing out on some good content.
It really depends on the feel you're going for. Like the visuals are such a like crucial aspect of comics. So you want to give the reader the experience you're going for, right? Like for instance, The Walking Dead was completely black and white also, but it really works because it was this weird, strange, dangerous world,
Grim.
gray, and it completely works. It wouldn't work as a colorful book, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And the same can be opposite. Like I feel like most superhero comics don't work in black and white
No.
because the color just adds another pop layer that you can't do in black and white.
Exactly. There's Artists suggests you could release it in manga pocket format if it's black and white.
Well, I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So these books are also available in physical form.
Yes, I have some physical copies right over here right now. So
Oh,
if
great.
anybody wants a physical copy, they can just email me, or they can message me on X or even my YouTube channel. Be like, hey, I want one of your comic books, and then we can talk. Yeah.
Okay. So this is how people can get it, guys. If you like what you're seeing here today, just reach out to Heather. By the way, the links to Heather's YouTube channel, but also her X profile are below, so you can follow her, send her messages. Are you guys always this easy? Hold it right there. Huh? Stay where you are, you crazy. No, or I'll shoot. Oh, right.
Yeah,
So-
that's another thing I should probably mention. The swearing is uncensored in this comic book. And the couple of book fairs I went to, and I sometimes see like kids wandering up to my comic book, and I have to tell their parent, okay, I don't think this is good for children, because there's one character in particular in Next Evolution. He swears like a sailor. His name's Julian. He's the hacker friend to Skylar. He's also a rager, but instead of doing the typical rage outs, he channels his rage through like hacking into people's systems and just generally messing with them otherwise. But when I was writing him, and I initially didn't have him be a swearer, but while I was writing him, I'm like, you know what? He's on the computer pretty much all day, every day. He's not eating good nutrition. He's dealing with, idiots on the internet all the time. He's probably going to be a grouchy guy, and he's probably going to swear a lot. So it was a character trait that I did not intend for him originally, but it just came out in the writing process.
Sure. Yeah. You find the character's voice while you write often. So does this book also have like horror elements?
That depends on how you consider horror, or what you consider horrifying. Like I mentioned earlier, that the evil corporation they're going after, they are the reason that they're making this medication, and they're intentionally harming people. They're doing it for a very specific reason. And some of the details behind why they are doing it, I find pretty horrific. Like they're basically doing human experimentation, but they're using the public as their testing grounds, which I find to be horrifying. And another character that you see later in this book, he is a worst case scenario of what went wrong with the medication.
Sure.
Or
Right.
he was technically the strongest of the Ragers, but the medication messed with him physically. And I think that is pretty horrifying.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Mike says, Thiago, Perfect 10 issue 5 looked fantastic, by the way, sir. All right. Yeah, it does. It does. Don't anger the big pharma gods.
The funny little incident, I was on a different stream with John's Longbox and the Fourth Age.
Oh, yeah.
And right when I started talking about the plot for Next Evolution, all of a sudden my connection just went out on my computer.
Oh,
Like,
really?
oh, darn it. And I finally had to do what I did today and get my phone out and come in through my phone. And John made the joke of, oh, did a big farmer come and tamper with your internet connection? I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
And then so while I was promoting the book, I would sometimes put the tagline of, this is the book Big Pharma doesn't want you to see.
Hey, that's a good tagline. Absolutely. Use that. Yeah, use that. Mike says, my brain is an involuntary sponge. Yeah, man. A lot of
Being unwillingly uneducated. That's always fun.
I didn't like black and white. Then I grew out of childhood. Yeah, yeah, it's true. It kind of depends on what you grow up with. I liked these colorful comics. Usually, kids grow up with colorful books because they like color. But nowadays, many kids grow up with manga. They read manga, right?
That's what I did. And so black and white comics never bothered me.
No, absolutely. Right. Artist editions are awesome. Okay. Big Google is always listening, and yeah, that's a bit scary indeed.
It is very scary because we were talking about how technology is so awesome earlier, but it can also be very terrifying because you never know who's ever going to hack into your account, whoever is going to look at your private information. And it is kind of terrifying how someone can have that amount of power over your daily life.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think Google uses the phrase "don't be evil" anymore. For some reason, they scrapped that, which is odd. But yeah. Right. So now you have like 2 issues done of this series.
Yes, and we're working on the 3rd issue right now. Martin just gifted me a cool promo pic that I posted up on X earlier, or yesterday, I should say.
Okay, all right. So you have like script 3 completely done. So you write the entire book and then you send it over to the artist.
I could never do like the Marvel method where I give a couple of paragraphs of what the story is going to be about, let him do the panel work, and then I come in and fill in the dialogue. I can't do that. This is going to sound terrible, but I'm so much of a control freak when it comes to my writing. I want to have complete control over what happens in my story, and I just could not do that.
Right. Yeah.
That's another reason why I want to do indie, because I was afraid that if I tried to take it to a publisher, they would want to change several things or have it mandated that I include certain things. And I didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, you should have the freedom to make whatever you want, right? Without interference.
That's what Image Comics was about before.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to our sagacious scalawag, Tank Ferret. Welcome, sir. I love black and white comics, he says. Yeah. Some people really prefer black and white over color. Right. So you have like 3 issues completely written. So how many issues do you have? Like a arc planned? Like, do you know the ending, for instance, to this series?
I do have the ending in mind, though I think the series is probably going to be either 7 or 8 issues.
Okay.
And I've got the 4th and 5th issue outlined already, but I haven't written them yet.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out ways of how to speed up, because I don't want to have the story drag out too long, but there's so many moving parts to this story that I don't want to just cram everything into just a couple of issues and be done with it.
Right. So where do these moving parts come from? Are you like following multiple characters?
Well, it's mostly going to be centered on Skylar, but there are going to be multiple characters where they each play a role into how the story will play out, but it's a very different role. So yeah, you have Skylar and you have Julian and you have the evil corporation, but there are certain characters where they're not really aligned with either of them, if that makes sense. But they do play a significant part. For example, one of the characters is Detective Anderson, and she is a cop that's initially going after Skylar because she just sees Skylar beating up all these guys, and she just assumes the worst of her, and she also has a major hatred towards Ragers. But she will play a very important part in the story later on down the road. And so that's why I say there's a lot of moving parts, because there are different characters that offer different perspectives of the situation, and also will add different things to the story that Skylar alone cannot do in a storytelling way. It's not in a physical way or a character way, but it's just certain characters will add more to a story than your main character alone can do.
Yes.
So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at the art, by the way. It's really, really interesting how it's so alive with what's basically minimal line work. You have like huge contrast in black and whites, plus some gray tones, and then you have this aquarelle. What do you call it in English? Like
acrylic
type of type of feel to it. It's fascinatingly. It looks really simple, but you have to know like what you're doing when you make this such artwork. Like everything just works,
Yeah.
Good looking cars, good looking scenery.
I'm really happy with what Martin did. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good. So how fast is he with drawing?
Oh, he's pretty fast. Like, what he'll do is he'll send me an outline of the what the page is going to look like, and I'll either be like, yeah, it looks good, or hey, can you like adjust the perspective a little bit, or can you add this into it? And then he'll change it, and then he will, within a few days, he'll give me the completed page. And yeah, he is a very fast worker.
Yeah, it's really, really stylized work. That street panel looks terrific, says Mike.
And he's more active on Instagram. He's NN Comics on Instagram, and he showcases more of his work there. He does a lot of Daredevil fan art. And one character who looks a lot like Storm Shadow, but I'm pretty sure isn't Storm Shadow. But yeah.
Cool. Art looks amazing, says There's Artist. Mike says, look at the silhouettes of the furthest background extras on the street. Even that far away anatomy is realistically correct. Yes. Let's look at this. Yeah, man. Yeah. Just it looks simple, but it's actually, you have to really, really know what you're doing. You have to have studied art. Like you can reduce forms and shapes when you know the basics, right?
Huh?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, but I might be wrong because I'm not an artist. But I think if you want to do like a more minimalist style, you almost have to be more careful, and you have to be have to have more skill for the minimalist style, because you can be minimalist, but you have to make it still look good and for people to understand what's going on. Because if you're too minimalist, then people can't tell what's going on. So I think it's tougher to make it look like, make it minimalist and make it look really good and detailed at the same time.
Yeah. By the way, people can read this for free on Global Comics.
You have to pay for the downloads, but yeah, you can read it for free on the website.
Yeah. Okay, great. Guys, the link to the Global Comics uploads are in the description of this video, so go read it. Go find it. Go check it out. All right, and my screen shares. Yeah, it looks really, really interesting. It looks nice. 6 or 7 issues planned, you said, right?
Yeah, it's just I need to write them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I keep breaking these outlines like, I'm not procrastinating, I'm just outlining so the writing process will be better. It's like, no, come on, put your big girl pants on and write the scripts.
Yeah, writing takes a lot of time also. Do you have a specific style of writing or process of writing? Like, do you do a lot of rewrites? Do you edit your own stuff?
Oh yeah, I edit my own stuff, and actually one thing I'm gonna show you, because I think it's funny. But
all right, cool.
So when I write, I like having a visual aid of what the panel's going to look like while I'm writing the script. This is for me to keep track. So I would make little stick figure pages here of what's going to happen in the panels, and this is from issue 2 actually. And the numbers coordinate to different sounds or some dialogue, and then I would write down what's going on and the dialogue in the actual script that I send to Martin. And I also sent him these pages too. Sometimes he'll follow that outline, sometimes he'll adjust it to what he thinks will look better. Of course. So you give him plenty of freedom to just visualize things. Yeah. Well, like he sees it, right? Again, I'm not an artist, so it's like, dude, if you think it's gonna look better another way, I'll trust you on this, because as you saw, my art skills are stick figures. Well, yeah, that's why we hire artists, right? But sometimes that's my experience. Sometimes artists come back with a layout that's completely different than what you had visualized when you were writing it. So different that you have to adjust, right? Like, okay, and then at some point you have to just accept it. This works as long as it works, and let's the artist do his thing. It's his book too. Yep. And he has made some fun little contributions in there too. Like one panel, I did not put this in the script, but he just decided to add like a little cat in the corner. Okay. Just a cat sitting right next to Skylar, and I just thought it was such a cute little addition that I didn't even say anything about it and just let him do it. And so now she has a cat, or was it just a street cat? I think it was just a street cat. He just added it in because it's his mother-in-law's cat, and it's just a fun little thing he added. Mike says, you're right, Heather. With more lines, an illustrator can cover up more errors or redos. With less lines, that extra wisdom is necessary for good looking and peace. Yeah, this is true. Welcome, Assimilating Knowledge. Welcome. Nice to see you. And there's artist says, from an artist perspective, stick figures used as a description are really handy. Well, I guess I'll keep doing it then. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So you also have, next to this, you also have your own YouTube channel. I'm at the Tired Regular on YouTube, all one word, the Tired Regular. Yeah. And right now I'm mostly just streaming. I have two different streams that I do on a weekly basis. There is my Slow Down Sunday series, where I'll just read a book aloud, and you guys can come in if you want to listen to what I'm reading, or you could just like have me in the background while you're doing something else. It's just a very chill stream. And I also have my Monday streams, which used to be just random stuff I would cover until someone gave me the idea to start making a stream all about looking into different artists in the comic book community. The first one I did was Steve Ditko. That was fun.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, but I see with your Slow Down Sundays, you have like a thumbnail of comics. Do you read comics?
Oh yeah. Let me. That's that shelf over there.
Sure. No, but what I mean because this is basically something for people to listen to, right? It's not like you go through the book and or.
Oh, I'm not reading a comic book live. I'm reading either like a novel or a short story.
Right.
Live.
Right.
So
okay.
Recently I've been reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I also read some Sherlock Holmes stories. I read some Conan stories. I read A Christmas Carol when it was December. Yeah, if I was going to be reading a comic book, I would try to figure out a way to get the camera facing the comic book.
Okay.
As with a comic book, it's not just about the dialogue and the story, it's also the visuals.
Yeah, you talk about Bob Kane and Will Eisner, Barry Windsor Smith. Cool. Guys, the link to this channel is also below. Subscribe to The Tired Regular. Where did that name come from?
Well, I wanted to have like a very unique but kind of fun name, and I decided upon The Tired Regular because I do enjoy drinking alcohol, and I'm a regular at a couple of bars, so
yeah.
I wanted to call myself The Regular, but I decided to put in tired because I am chronically exhausted. And I keep telling myself, why am I so tired all the time? But I know it's because I stay up way too late, and I just do this to myself all the time.
Okay, well, it works. Right, so yeah, that and the screen shares. And finally, something else you also have is a blog series?
Oh yeah, my Medium blog. That's where it all got started.
This is where it got started. So you still do this, right?
Yep, I'm planning a couple articles to hopefully release this week too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I write about mostly comic books. Sometimes I'll cover movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really stick to either DC or Marvel. I more likely tend more to indie stuff these days.
Sure. Yeah. You know, the mainstream gets plenty of attention. So I rather watch things and read things about indie comics. Let's see.
There's gonna be a new Sentry movie.
I hear good things about the new Sentry movie. Really? I don't know. I'm completely checked out regarding superhero movies.
I think you're not the only one.
I don't really care.
I stopped watching. I stopped paying attention to the MCU after Thor Ragnarok. I just really did not like what they did with Thor in that movie. They were trying to make him more like Star-Lord, but it's like Thor isn't Star-Lord. Thor is Thor. Why are you trying to change everything to be like Star-Lord?
Yeah, I did understand these decisions sometimes. So you thought they kind of nailed the formula with the 10 years of the MCU up until Endgame, right? And then somehow they change things up for some reason, and movies become less popular. So I don't know.
What baffled me the most was it was right at the height of the MCU, and that was when Marvel decided to do their all new, all different Marvel, where they replaced all of their main title characters with these completely new people. And, and also to add in the diversity quota. But the problem was all the people are going to be talking to the comic shops to read about Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Thor, and all the other characters. And then they'll come in and they're like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah.
And so it's like they picked kind of the worst time to roll out all new, all different Marvel.
Yeah.
Like they should have waited a few years to get people hooked onto the comic books, then gradually introduced these new characters if they really wanted to do that.
This is everyone who reads comics says this, right? So we all get this. So why do these people, they are supposed to know what sells? You know, they don't get it for some reason. They don't make this connection, which is so logical, you know.
At this point, I think they just are doubling down on it because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. It's the same reason why they continue to keep Spider-Man and Mary Jane separated, and they even gave Mary Jane a new husband to try and convince people that they should be separated. And people have hated One More Day. I have never heard a single Spider-Man fan who says, oh yeah, I really liked One More Day. I really like the direction where they're going with Peter's life. I've never heard a Spider-Man fan say they like that comic. And you got to wonder, why are they continuing with this stupid plot thread that everybody has made clear that they don't like? And it's just, at this point, I think it's because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. I think it's as simple as that. It's petty, it's stupid, but they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know, man. You want to give readers what they like, right? So do these people who make these comics actually like their own work, or is it just something like they can tell people, hey, I'm writing Spider-Man, I'm working on Moon Knight or whatever, but basically these
it's
comics,
not their own work. They didn't create those characters. That's why they don't care as much as it would be if it were their own characters. It's not their work, and they feel that they can do whatever they want with it just because the torch was passed to them.
Yeah, maybe it's true. But when I'm hired by a client to write their book, right, I want to make sure that the client is happy, that I do the character justice and the story justice, right? Nowadays, people don't care. Mike asks, Heather, are you reading the Titan Conan the Barbarian series?
I'm not at the moment. I'm actually starting on the new Solomon Kane series that they're doing, but my boyfriend is. I actually got my boyfriend into comics, and turns out it's as easy as going, hey, babe, you know that Conan the Barbarian movie you really like? Well, there's a crap ton of Conan the Barbarian comics. You should check them out. And he is. But I'm not personally, no. I hear good things, though. I hear a lot of good things about it.
All right. Invincible fixed One More Day.
That's what I've heard, yeah. Like, Invincible took all of the terrible comic book decisions and actually made it workable.
Yeah. Plus, it ended. It ended when it needed to. That's.
And also, Invincible is another one of those series where it's kind of it's not a parody, it's a deconstruction of superheroes. So they're able to get away with it more because it's not trying to play superheroes completely straight.
Yeah, sure. Crenshaw says, Marvel, you know how we made good comics? Well, now we're doing something all different. Yeah, the all different, all new. But not better. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I tried to read the new Mockingbird series, and I did not like it at all. It felt very plastic, and I hate to use this frame, too girl powery.
Right.
Now, look, I like strong female characters. Like, my comic book is about a strong female character, but there's a difference between a strong female character and a girl boss character.
Yeah.
And girl boss characters are just annoying. I really don't like the girl boss characters at all.
By the way, it's a weird phrase to me, like strong female character. It's like why does it need to have, like, do people think that female characters are usually weak or something. You know, just
I think it's
just
because our
write
culture.
a normal, decent character. You know.
I think it's because people ascribe a strong as in like physical strength and
Yeah.
like might and the more masculine idea of what strong is, that they don't want to consider that no, women are strong too, we just are strong in different ways from men.
Sure.
Like a lot of anime got the strong female character down pretty good, and no, they're not strong in a masculine way, but they're strong in a way that it makes sense, A, and B, it makes them badasses.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is what makes like female characters and male characters interesting, because they're different, right? So do something different with them. They can have like overlap. But there are differences, and that's awesome. Right. Darius Harder says Invincible is not a deconstruction, it's a love letter to superhero comics. It's dark but not cynical.
Okay, I guess I misspoke there. Sorry.
And welcome, Elliot Rodriguez. Welcome, sir. Hill panel, Hill chat. I can't stay for long, but I wanted to stop by and say hi. Well, hi to you, Elliot. Thanks for stopping by. Well, we're at the end of the show anyway. So let's see. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm all caught up. All right, Heather, thank you so much for being my guest for today and for talking
Thank you
about
for having me on.
About your endeavors. Very, very interesting. So people, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on X. I'm Heather_Veely. You can also find me on my blog. You can find me on my YouTube channel. And yeah, those are my 3 most common places that you'll be able to find me.
And it's all below, guys. So go follow Heather, subscribe, do whatever. And also like this stream. So if you like this conversation with Heather, please give the stream a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. I will be back next weekend. So next week, I think Marinus is my guest. Yeah, Marinus is my guest next Sunday. So I hope to see you guys then. Thank you all for showing up. Mike says, interesting real world influence concept and good looking, unique black and white style for your book. Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, chat. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.